Every firm competing in an industry has a competitive strategy, whether explicit or implicit. The strategy may have been developed explicitly through a planning process, or it may have evolved implicitly through the activities of the various functional departments of the firm. Left to its own devices, each functional department will inevitably pursue approaches dictated by its professional orientation and the incentives of those in charge. I need to get something already. It's already heavy. Okay. All right. However, the sum of these departmental approaches rarely equals the best strategy. The emphasis being placed on strategic planning today in firms in the United States and abroad reflects the proposition that there are significant benefits to gain through an explicit process of formulating strategy to ensure that at least the policies, if not the actions of functional departments, are coordinated and directed at some common set of goals. Increased attention to formal strategic planning has highlighted questions that have long been of concern to managers. What is driving competition in my industry or in industries I am thinking of entering? What actions are competitors likely to take, and what is the best way to respond? How will my industry evolve? How can the firm be best positioned to compete in the long run? Yet most of the emphasis in formal strategic planning processes has been on asking these questions in an organized and disciplined way rather than on answering them. These techniques have then been advanced for answering the questions, often by consulting firms, either address the diversified company rather than the industry perspective, or consider only one aspect of the industry structure, like the behavior of costs, that cannot hope to capture the richness and complexity of industry competition. This book presents a comprehensive framework of analytical techniques to help a firm analyze its industry as a whole and to predict the industry's future evolution, to understand competitors in its own position, and to translate this analysis into a competitive strategy for a particular business. All right. So what we know off the top is that most firms are more focused on asking the questions than answering the questions. And this is true. Or that they will ask certain type of questions that don't allow them to appreciate or understand the market, which is also true. So, for instance, the behavior of costs. The behavior of costs don't necessarily, they can give you a snapshot and an expectation, but it's unlikely that they can give you an appraisal of competition. There's no way for the behavior of cost to give you an understanding of true industry competition. And why not? It's because competition is more than just costs. And how do costs change? That's what we've got to get to. How are costs defined in the market? All right, let's keep going. Okay, so we are organized into three parts. Part one presents a general framework for analyzing structure of an industry and its competitors. The underpinning of this framework is the analysis of the 5 competitive forces acting on an industry and their strategic implications. Part one builds on this framework to present techniques for the analysis of competitors, buyers, and suppliers, techniques for reading market signals, game theoretic concepts for making and responding to competitive moves, an approach to mapping strategic groups in an industry and explaining differences in their performance, and a framework for predicting industry evolution. Okay, so that's kind of a big sentence. So I just want to hit that one more time. Okay, so what to expect. Part one is the framework for the analysis of competitors, buyers, suppliers, and techniques for reading the signals. Okay, the game theoretic concepts for responding to competitive moves, an approach to mapping strategic groups in an industry and explaining the differences in their performance, and then the framework for predicting industry evolution. Okay, let's keep going. Part two shows how the analytical framework described in part one can be used to develop competitive strategy in particular important types of industry environments. These differing environments reflect fundamental differences in industry concentration, state of maturity, and exposure to international competition. These differing environments are crucial to determining the strategic context in which a business competes, the strategic alternatives available, and the common strategic errors. Part two examines fragmented industries, emerging industries, the transition to industry maturity, declining industries, and global industries. Okay. Part three of the book completes the analytical framework by systematically examining the important types of strategic decisions that confront firms in competing in a single industry. Vertical integration, which is massive, major capacity expansion, and entry into new businesses. The analysis of each strategic decision draws on the application of general analytical tools of part one, as well as the economic theory on administrative considerations in managing and motivating an organization. Cool. Obviously, management and motivation are going to be key issues in an organization, no matter what the competition looks like. But taken as a whole, they really do make or break a business. And I think we're seeing a lot of this currently. I mean, when you look at the even the U.S. market, I mean, the layoff situation is just untenable. It makes no sense that we went through such massive hiring going 2020 to 2021, and now all those businesses are scaling back like there was no future planning whatsoever. Let's get into it. Part three is designed not only to help a company make those key decisions, but also give it insight into how competitors, customers, suppliers, and potential entrants might make them. To analyze competitive strategy for a particular business, the reader can draw on the book in a number of ways. First, the general analytical tools of part one can be utilized. Second, the chapter or chapters from part two that bear on the key dimensions of the firm's industry can be used to provide some more specific guidance for the strategy formulation in the business's particular environment. If you guys have any organizations that you want to pop into here that we can use to reference as keys in this book, let's do it. Even if a particular decision is not imminent, part three will usually be helpful in reviewing decisions that have already been made and in examining past and present decisions of competitors. Whereas reader can dip into a particular chapter, a great deal is gained by having a working understanding of the entire framework as a starting point for attacking a particular strategic problem. These parts of the book are meant to enrich and reinforce one another. Sections seemingly not important to the firm's own position may well be crucial in looking at competitors, and the broad industry circumstances or strategic decision currently on the table may change. Reading the full book may appear formidable, but the effort will be rewarded in terms of speed and clarity in which a strategic situation can then be assessed and a competitive strategy developed. It will soon be apparent from reading this book that a comprehensive analysis of industry and competitors requires a great deal of data, some of it subtle and difficult to obtain. This book aims to provide the reader with a framework for deciding what data is particularly crucial and how it can be analyzed. Reflecting the practical problems of such an analysis, however, Appendix B provides an organized approach to actually conducting an industry study, organizing sources of field and published data, as well as guidance in field interviewing. This book is written for practitioners, that is, managers seeking to improve the performance of their business, advisors to managers, teachers of management, security analysts, or other observers trying to understand and forecast business success or failure, or government officials trying to understand competition in order to formulate public policy. This book is drawn from research in industrial economics and business strategy and teaching experience in MBA and executive programs at the Harvard Business School. It draws upon detailed studies of hundreds of industries with all varieties of structure and at widely differing states of maturity. It's not written from the viewpoint of the scholar or the style of more academically oriented work, but it is hoped that scholars will nevertheless be interested in the conceptual approach, the extensions to the theory of industrial organization that in many cases the many case examples. Okay. So the review, the classic approach to formulating strategy. So interesting. Let's run this table real quick. Put this back. Let's run this table. Can you see that? No, it's backwards for you. So that's a backwards table. But I'll go through it anyway. So figure 1 of 1 is the wheel of the competitive strategy. So if you're interested in competitive strategy, then the wheel that we have is what we'll be focusing on. So the figure, which can be called the wheel of competitive strategy, is a device for articulating the key aspects of a firm's competitive strategy on a single page. In a hub of the wheel are the firm's goals, which are its broad definition of how it wants to compete, and its specific economic and non-economic objectives. The spoke of the wheel are the key operating policies, which the firm is seeking to achieve these goals. Under each heading on the wheel, a succinct statement of the key operating policies that functional areas should derive from the company's activities. I just want to go ahead and talk about them. Okay, so the goals and the functional aspects. So the goals define how the business is going to compete. Objectives for profitability, growth, market share, social responsiveness, etc. Okay, so you've got your target markets, you've got marketing, you've got sales, distribution, manufacturing, labor, purchasing, research and development, finance and control, and your product line. Let's keep going. Depending on the nature of the business, management can be more or less specific in articulating key operating policies. Once they are specified, the concept of strategy can be used to guide the overall behavior of the firm, right? Like a wheel, the spokes or policies must radiate from and reflect the goals, the hub or the goals, and the spokes must be connected to each other or the wheel will not roll. Okay. In the second chart, which obviously will be backwards. Let's see, that one says, okay, so your competitive strategy is your company's strengths and weaknesses. It's the industry opportunities and threats. It's the personal values of the key implementers, meaning the people responsible for running the strategy, and the broader societal expectations. I mean, what's great about a plan like this is you can use it in almost any context. No matter what you do personally, you can use this information as context for understanding and better running your market, whatever your hustle is. Determine the limits of what a company can successfully accomplish. The strengths and weaknesses of a company are its profile of assets and skills relative to competitors, including financial resources, technology, brand ID, and so on. The personal values of an organization are the motivations and needs of the key executives, which I think explains why in some cases why in every case when you get a bad executive, you get a bad outcome. You can throw some examples in the chat. I'm sure there are plenty. The external limits are determined by the industry and broader environment. All my allergies today. Industry opportunities and threats define the competitive environment with attendant risk and potential rewards. Societal expectations reflect the impact on the company of such things, such as government policy, social concerns, evolving mores, and many others. These 4 factors must be considered before a business can develop realistic and implementable goals and policies. The appropriateness of a competitive strategy can be determined by testing proposed goals and policies for consistency. Okay. So what is the consistency? Internal consistency. Are the goals mutually achievable? Do the key operating policies address the goals? Do the key operating policies reinforce one another? Environmental. So the environmental fit. Do goals and policies exploit industry opportunities? Do the goals and policies deal with industry threats, including the risk of competitive response to the degree possible with available resource? And does the timing of the goals and policies reflect the ability of the environment to absorb actions? And then finally, are the goals and policies responsive to the broader societal concerns? And then the resource fit. Do goals and policies match the resources available to the company relative to its competitors? And does the timing of the goals and policies reflect the organization's ability to change? Then finally, it's the communication implementation. Are the goals understood by the key implementers? Is there enough congruence between goals and policies and values of the key implementers to ensure commitment? Which I think, yeah, that's going to be probably the key. And is there sufficient managerial capability to allow for effective implementation? So the broad considerations of effective strategy can be translated in figure 1.4. Okay, we haven't got there. So what is the business doing now? What is the implicit or explicit current strategy? What assumptions about the company's relative position, strength, and weaknesses, competitors, and industry trends can be made for the current strategy to make sense? So what assumptions have to be made for the strategy to make sense? Should probably try and pull in some real life examples at some point here. So what's happening in the environment? What are the key factors for competitive success and important industry opportunities and threats? What are the capabilities and limitations of existing and potential competitors and their probable future moves? What important governmental, societal, and political factors will present opportunities and threats? Yeah. Strengths and weaknesses. Given an analysis of industry competitors, what are the company's strengths and weaknesses relative to present and future competitors? Asking what the business should be doing. Test of assumptions and strategies. How do the assumptions embodied in the current strategy compared with the analysis above? And does the strategy meet the tests of the figure we haven't covered? What are the strategic alternatives? What are the feasible strategic alternatives? And then which alternative best relates to the company's situation to external opportunities and threats? Cool. Okay. Give me a second here. I'm gonna set up shop. Set up shop. One more time. One more time, we're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah, alright, and start the dancing. One more time, we're gonna celebrate. Most people don't want to learn this early in the morning. Oh, weird. Huh. That's interesting. That's interesting. So I wonder if it's designed to receive feedback of some kind. Weird. Funky, funky, doo doo. Yeah. 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 What's that? Doo doo diggy diggy bop. Diggy diggy bop. Funky, funky. Let's see what we got here. Bro. Skip, 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 skip. Oh. Oops, 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 oops. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Hmm. I wonder what's the best way to handle that. All right. Okay. The structure analysis of industries. The essence of formulating competitive strategy is relating a company to its environment. Although the relative environment is very broad, encompassing social as well as economic forces, the key aspect of the firm's environment is the industry or industries in which it competes. Industry structure has a strong influence in determining competitive rules of the game as well as strategies potentially available to the firm. Forces outside of the industry are significant primarily in a relative sense. Since outside forces usually affect all firms in the industry, the key is found in the differing abilities of firms to deal with them. The intensity or competition in an industry is neither a matter of coincidence or bad luck. Rather, competition in an industry is rooted in its underlying economic structure and goes well beyond the behavior of current competitors. Kind of fix this a little bit. The state of competition in an industry depends on five basic forces, which are shown in Figure 1.1. The collective strength of forces determines the ultimate profit potential of the industry, where profit potential is measured in terms of long-term return on invested capital. Not all industries have the same potential. They differ fundamentally in their ultimate profit potential as the collective strength of forces differs. The forces range from intense in industries. Okay, so the forces range from intense in industries like tires, paper, and steel, where no firm earns spectacular returns, to relatively mild industries like oil field equipment and services, cosmetics, and toiletries, where high returns are common. This chapter is considered with identifying key structural features of industries that determine the strength of competitive forces and hence industry profitability. The goal of competitive strategy for a business unit in an industry is to find a position in the industry where the company can best defend itself against competitive forces or influence them in its favor. Since the collective strength of the forces may well be painfully apparent to all competitors, the key for developing strategy is to delve below the surface and analyze the source of each. Knowledge of underlying sources of competitive pressure highlights critical strengths and weaknesses for companies, animating positions in industry, clarifying areas where strategic change may yield greatest payoff, and highlight areas where industry trends promise to hold greatest significance, either as opportunities or threats. Understanding sources will prove to be useful in considering areas for diversification. The primary forces here on strategy in individual industries. Structural analysis is fundamental underpinning for formulating competitive strategy and key building block for most concepts in the book. To avoid needless repetition, the term product rather than product or service will be used to refer to output. Okay, product. Okay. So service is a product, obviously. Okay, what is this here? Okay. 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 Let's get about it. Why did he doubt it? Why didn't he shout it? I was out here ready to get about it, but they tried to doubt it. I don't even know what I said. It was about it. Oh, it's because I'm DTL. Busting the flow like the DTL. Face is shiny today, bro. I got a shiny head right now. Shiny F. Okay. Let's just take a look. Just kind of curious to see what else is going on in business news today. Let's check it out, why don't we? What the heck is going on in the world? Alright, I'm just going to go in. I'm just curious about businesses this morning. Just want to know what the hell is happening in business. Switch over to my extension. Wow, my Wi-Fi is dying out here. Come on, bro. Okay, I'm gonna switch over. Okay, where do we want to start? Just curious. Not too much there. Here, let's go over. Damn, that's fucked up. Hang on a second. Alright. Okay, that's all set up. Let's see. Oh man. Damn, Snapchat is just damn dirty, bro. Snapchat is dirty. At least that's what New Mexico is alleging. So we got New Mexico. The New Mexico Attorney General filing a lawsuit against Snapchat, saying that the site's design and policies foster the sharing of illegal and abusive material and facilitate exploitation. Well, isn't that a damn surprise? Snapchat. He also filed a suit last year against Meta, saying the same thing, that it allows these pieces of dung to trade abusive material and solicit underage individuals on its platforms. In my opinion, that's going to be a big go up against Meta, but I hope he skewers these people. Harmful design features create an environment where predators easily target underage individuals through schemes and other forms of abuse. These schemes involve persuading people to send explicit photos and then threatening to make images public unless the victim pays a financial amount or engages in a personal illegal favor. A Snap has misled its users into believing that photos and videos sent on the platform will disappear. However, these schemers can permanently capture content and have created a virtual yearbook of illegal images that are traded, sold, and stored indefinitely. Snap said in a statement it shares the Attorney General's concerns and the public's concerns about the safety of its young people. Snap says in its statement, "We understand the online threats continue to evolve and will work diligently to address critical issues. We have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in our trust and safety teams over the past several years and designed our service to promote online safety while moderating content and enabling direct messaging with close friends and family." So let's see what it says. Okay, so according to complaint, minors report having more online interactions on Snap that are of an illegal nature than on any other type of platform, and more victims are recruited on Snap than any other platform. That's actually substantial. More victims are recruited on Snap than any other platform. According to the suit, New Mexico conducted a months-long undercover investigation into the abusive images on Snap. The investigation revealed a vast network of dark sites dedicated to sharing the stolen and illegal material. Oh man, this world sucks, bro. Snap, the lawsuit by the Attorney General alleges, was the far largest source of videos and images that was being investigated. All right, so I guess from the business perspective, let's take a look. Let's run this through the business lens. I just want to run some of these figures by what's going on right here. Okay, so Snap. Snap's product line is a digital service that allows people to communicate and exchange media. The target markets appear to be, who is Snap's target market? Obviously, Snap's target market is individuals in the younger demographics. That's got to be it. And its marketing is making promises that the images that are exchanged are temporary files that allow individuals to have some sort of communicative privacy that doesn't exist in reality, according to this lawsuit. So sales, not really sure how Snap makes sales, but I imagine they're probably, as a free-based platform, they're probably using sponsored ads, advertising somewhere on the site. Distribution, probably pretty simple. Because Snap is virtually connected to Apple Store, Google Play, so that makes it easy to distribute its product. Manufacturing, I mean, at this point, I'm not sure what it is that they're manufacturing. They did say that they have invested hundreds of millions of dollars into safety, into trust and safety. So I guess that's part of its manufacturing, and it's also the labor, the team that has working on that. I'm not really sure what their purchasing could be. I mean, probably some sort of digital service, maybe some sort of security service. Also similar with research and development. What Snap is working on now, I have no idea. Nor do I have any information about their finance and control. But so those would be some of what we do know about the snap at this time. It sounds like they're going to be investing some of that finance and control into trying to navigate these legal concerns of the New Mexico Attorney General. So he's after him. That is weird. That is weird. WWE Doctor. It's WWE Doctor withdraws litigation against Vince McMahon accuser. Against Vince McMahon accuser. Oh snap. So the doctor withdrew his litigation against an accuser of Vince McMahon who is claiming assault and trafficking. Yikes. So let's see here. The doctor treats wrestlers. Took his suit back. Fired him. Filed a motion seeking evidence from the employee who alleged McMahon mistreated her illegally and even defecated on her head. That is. Just imagine the manager of a business defecating on your head. Oh man, the manager of a business, the general manager of a business defecating on you. That is a nightmare. That is a nightmare that does not go away. Your manager, your boss taking a literal dump on you, on your head, anywhere on your body, but on your head. That is crazy. He took a shit on you. That is crazy. That is nuts, man. Similar to McMahon's recently struck down motion, filed as yet another frivolous attempt to intimidate. It's crazy. So let's see. Interesting. So McMahon had at one time directed his employee to visit Dr. Kolker when she complained of fatigue and insomnia, which probably was related to the way that her manager was treating her. He refers her to a specific doctor who then later, after these allegations come out, he files a suit against her to intimidate her. Oh, man. So it says on more than 60 occasions, this employee was administered IV infusions and prescribed supplements and medicines without being told what she was being given. So this in-house doctor is virtually just drugging her without her having any knowledge of what it is that she's actually being given. That's pretty far out there. So obviously we know. Oh, okay, interesting. So McMahon resigned as the executive chairman of WWE parent. Okay, so this is cool. So WWE itself is a subsidiary of TKO Group Holdings. I didn't know that. So TKO Group Holdings actually owns the WWE as a parent company. That's kind of cool to know. Didn't have any idea about that. Okay. TKO Group Holdings right now is actually trading at about $115 a share, which is interesting. Let's take a look here. Interesting. So it's near its high of $117, which has happened here just in the inside of August. So actually interesting. Despite the news that the general manager of TKO Holdings, WWE, is taking a shit on his employees, they're actually trending towards an all-time market high. Curious. I want to know. I'm interested. What other companies are TKO Holdings involved in? So currently, Ari Emanuel is the new CEO and executive chairman. Let's see. They actually own a ton of stuff. They own a ton. TKO Holdings owns a ton of stuff. That's crazy. All right. So let's take a look at some of these. So minority owner in Alpha Entertainment, not familiar. So owns 50% of Tap Out. It's got Titan Towers, still owns WCW. I didn't know this, that there's a WWE Books and a WWE Jet Services Incorporated. So it's actually got some pretty deep subsidiaries. So it's got a legacy department. Inside the legacy department is the American Wrestling Association, which ran from 1960 to 1991. Okay, so a lot of little dink and dunks here. Let's see. Let's see. Ultimate Pro Wrestling, Universal Wrestling Foundation, just a bunch of little tiny wrestlings. Okay, the WWE Music Group. Ultimate Fighting Studios, I guess, would be the other major. So basically, all of the subsidiaries fall either under Ultimate Fighting Championship or the WWE, which makes sense. Probably will be looking to grow here in the next couple of years, picking up some of these other available firms. Literally, TKO Holdings owns the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Does that feel weird? Okay, so TKO Holdings owns the UFC. Wait a second. Okay, so weird. Well, what's the one that I thought Dana White was the UFC? Isn't Dana White UFC? Now I gotta know. I got to know now, damn it. Okay, I'm just curious. What do people say? All the comments about the story on Vince, oh, well, on the employee who pulled back his suit on the employee who was attacked by Vince McMahon eventually, talking about the fact that he took a dump on the woman's head and he actually looks terrible right now. Those are the other comments. He does look actually really terrible in this comment, like his life force is being sucked out of him. What an idiot. Why'd you do that, Vince? You're dumbass. Hang on, let me see here. Dana White. Why did I think that he was the president of the UFC? It says he's the CEO and president of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, okay? So why does this here? I mean, it's just a wiki, but this wiki says that. Oh, okay, okay. So Ari Emanuel of TKO Holdings is the CEO of UFC. TKO Holdings owns the UFC, and then Dana White is virtually he's the president and CEO, but it sounds like maybe he's a co-CEO. This Ari Emanuel has got to have. He's the CEO of Endeavor, an entertainment and media agency that owns the UFC and WWE. Interesting. Okay. Cool. Interesting. So he's a co-CEO. Meanwhile, you got Vince throwing away his position in TKO Holdings to have taken a shite on the top of an employee's face and head. Damn you, Vince. Damn you. Damn you, Vince. How could you do that? What a crazy thing. What? Oh, okay. Let's see here. Let's go in. Just take a look at what's happening. If there's anything interesting in business right now. Hey, Red Lobster's not going out of business. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Oh, that's crazy. I want to check out this EV story. So Toyota slashing EV production plans by 30%. So based on their plan to cut EV car production, they're actually expected to build 500,000 fewer EV cars by 2026 than they initially planned. And that's actually fascinating because Toyota seemed to have been one of the companies that was most resistant to making the EV transition. And weren't they right? Damn, Toyota's smart. Toyota is smart. They are not stupid. So last May, they had plans to sell 1.5 million. So I guess that means they're still expecting to put out over approximately a million EVs this year. And then Honda, it says, had the best sales month after selling 5,000 units of the new of the first electric EV in the US. The Prologue. I'm just going to go take a quick look. What is the Prologue? What does it look like? Go to this Honda dealership. 47.4, which I guess is high or low depending on how you look at it. Honestly, it doesn't look like much. It really doesn't look like all that. It's got all these little add-ons. You can choose a package with $750 worth of public charging credits. You can buy the portable charging kit, which gives you $250 installation incentive and $300 worth of charging credits. And then you can get the home charging station, which is a $500 installation incentive and then $100 worth of charging credits. Anyway. Okay, so Toyota is shrinking plans to produce EVs. Red Lobster's coming out of bankruptcy. What is he talking about? All right, let me go in here. Kroger CEO vows a $1 billion price cut on groceries if Albertson merger closes. What do you think what that possibly does to the price of groceries? $1 billion. And how many stores? So a possible $24.6 billion deal between Krogerson and Albertsons. Now to the possible $24 billion supermarket. Michael, stop it, Michael. Michael Strahan just trying to take over. Albertsons prices are 10 to 12% higher than Kroger's. If the company merged, they could shrink the gap in the new strategy to retain customers. If combined, Albertsons and Kroger's would control around 13% of U.S. grocery sales And currently, Walmart controls nearly 22% of grocery sales. Kroger operates 2,800 stores in 35 states, which includes brands like Ralph's Smith and Harris Teeter. And Albertsons, based in Boise, operates 2,200 stores in 34 states, which includes brands like Safeway, Jewel, Osco, and Shaw's. If it goes through, it'll be the largest grocery chain merger in the United States history. I don't know if consolidation of our food chain is good at this point. Based on some of the things that have changed in food in the last couple of years, I don't know, I find that to be somewhat concerning, but that's just me, perhaps. Let's see here, what else we got going on. There's some stories about the Chase Bank check fraud. That's crazy. What's going on with people? Why are people so stupid anymore? Why are people so stupid? Why are people so stupid? Over here talking about the jobs report is a boom for migrants. Jobs report is a boom for migrants and a slump for Americans. What did they think was going to happen? I did see that they said that because the jobs report is so soft that the economy is going to land softly. Weak manufacturing measures. Let's see what's going on in manufacturing. U.S. manufacturing. Hang on a second. Give me one touch of a moment. One momentary touch. Bro, you gotta clear out, bro. You gotta clear out. There you go. Let's see here. Trying to figure out how that'll work. Got a few ideas in my head. Honestly, this took some steam out of me. What the hell? Dye in Doritos using an experiment that created see-through mice. What the? What are they feeding us? What is in our food? What are you talking about, Doritos? They were able to see through the skin of live mice by applying a mixture of water and tartrazine, a bright yellow-orange food coloring used in Doritos and foods, drugs, and cosmetics. Tartrazine? What the hell? What is in our food? Testing the dye on mice tissue samples and raw chicken breasts, researchers rubbed the dye in water solution on the skulls and abdomens of mice. As the dye was absorbed, within a few minutes, they could see the skin, muscle, and connective tissue transparent in live rodents. Once researchers washed off the dye, the mice lost their translucency and the dye is excreted through urine. Holy mackerel. So it's important that the dye is biocompatible, safe for living organisms. It's expensive and inefficient. Holy cow. Then they go on to say the human skin is 10 times thicker than a mouse, so I don't know how much dye they would need to administer to see it work on humans. Holy cow. Tartrazine is like a magic power. Wait, it's like a superpower. You imagine like a squirt gun full of tartrazine. You could look inside of somebody's body, just like. I can diagnose your cancers from outside. That's crazy, man. What is in our food? They call that biocompatible, but how is that biocompatible, man? I don't want to be see-through after eating my Doritos. It's crazy. No! Oh, man. That caught me by surprise. I'm not going to lie. Is there anything else good in here today? Show me something good, dude. What? That's a funny story. That's the clicker right there. Let me take a look. Man refused to pay an $825 restaurant bill for strangers despite being told he should be a gentleman. This world's out of control, man. How did he do this? He refused to pay a stranger's $825 restaurant bill. Me either. So let's see. Oh, okay. So he was having dinner with a group while on vacation in his country of birth. He reached out to an old friend to meet up. The friend said he wanted to bring 3 women and a man he's cool with, and he agreed to that. He suggested we go to a place where I rented after dinner. I suggested the restaurant, and everyone was cool with it. Everything was fine. Everyone was starting to order up the cocktails, appetizers, main courses. He didn't think about it much. But after dinner, that's when things got crazy. Let's see. The total was 700. What is this? What's the denomination here? I just got to know what this denomination is. It's 700 or come on, let me know what the denomination is. Okay, so it's a pound, euro. It's a euro, or $760 American. Told his friends they could all split the bill evenly, which the friend was fine with. The other guy that his friend brought along piped up he didn't have any money to cover his costs and could only spend £25, despite ordering up to 100 or 100 euro worth of food. So he ordered 108 American dollars and he's got $27 to put down on it. He's got a down payment on his din-din. What a joke, bro. This guy is a freaking joke. He just ran up the bill like the 2 other women at the table, quiet up until now. One of them interjected that he should just cover the bill since he was a gentleman and doing better in life. You're doing better in life than me. Why don't you pay it? That's crazy. How did they resolve? I got fed up and I said, I'm not going to split it evenly anymore and just cover my own spend. I felt bad they were trying to figure out how to pay. So he probably just paid his and got up and ran. I do not blame him. I don't blame him. Time for breakfast. Does anybody else eat Go-Gurts anymore? Convenient as hell, though.